I'm Jake Lizzio, and today we're doing a guitar lesson on minor Add9 arpeggios. Minor Add9 chords are just minor chords, but you've added the 9th note of the scale. So for example, if I was playing an A minor Add9, I'd take the 9th note of the A scale, okay? That would be a B. But that's the same thing as the 2nd note, all right? Just in chords, we usually play it as the 9th note. In arpeggios, we can just put it in as the 2nd note. So by taking an A minor chord and adding a B to it, I get an A minor Add9, which is a wonderful sounding chord. Little difficult to play, but that is an unmistakable feel. You get that dramatic, I think of like a Western flair, I think of like Clint Eastwood movies. Same thing for an E minor Add9. If I think about what is the 2nd note of my E scale, it would be F sharp. So if I add an F sharp into my E minor chord, here's an E minor, just E, G, B, and if I add an F sharp, I get that wonderful Clint Eastwoodian minor chord, all right? So when we turn these into arpeggios, we're just playing the notes one at a time, and it's gonna sound pretty much just as cool as the chord itself. So I'm giving you 3 shapes in this video on how to play minor Add9 arpeggios, and then at the end of this video, we'll talk about composing with them and some ideas that you can do past just going up and down them, okay? So our very first shape will be starting on the 5th string with our index finger. So I wanna play A minor Add9, and I'm going to find A on my 5th string, that's right here, on the 12th fret. And then here's the shape I'll do. I'll use my 1st finger, I'll use my ring finger to play the 9th note or the 2nd note, I'll use my pinky to play the minor 3rd, and then my ring finger on the next string. My ring finger will roll to the 3rd string, and then I'll have my 1st finger on 12, my middle finger on 13, my 1st finger on 12, and then I can finish it with my pinky on 17, like that. So I've got 12, 14, 15, 14, 14, 12, 13, 12, 17. And right now I'm doing this in A, but you really want to think of it as a shape so you can move it around. So if I wanted to do it in A flat, same exact shape, just all moved down. Here's a G minor Add9. Now this is sweepable, so we could just do one down on every single string and then do the rest with hammer-ons and pull-offs like this. So I'll hammer on, and then I'll just drag my pick to go down, drag my pick, hammer on, drag my pick, and I could even hammer on that last note. Or I could pick it and pull it off, and then do all pull-offs on the way down. So here's what it would be sweeping, down, and up. And just going up the arpeggio sounds fantastic. If you can just learn to blaze through that, that's a wonderful little phrase right there. Also, you don't have to use this whole arpeggio. I mean, think about how nice just this top part of the arpeggio is. Just these 4 notes right there. That's actually used in the Master of Puppets solo by Metallica. Just that little phrase right there. And if we continue to the 3rd string, that's really nice. And if you can imagine that over the tonality of an A, I'm just gonna let an A note ring out, and we'll do that little A minor Add9 arpeggio on top of it. Listen. You get a little bit of that feel of the A minor arpeggio on top of just a static A note, okay? So cool shape, fun to practice, much harder as you go down lower on the fretboard because the stretch becomes very wide there. But this shape connects to the next shape that I'm gonna show you, but it connects backwards. So right now we started on the root of my A minor Add9 arpeggio. I started on the A. Now we're gonna start on the 5th of that chord. So that means I'm gonna be starting on E. All right, I'll put my 1st finger on E on the 5th string, that's the 7th fret with my 1st finger. Then I'm gonna do this giant stretch. I'm gonna actually hammer on my pinky to get back to my root, all right? So here's my hammer on to my root. I'm gonna use my middle finger. That is gonna be my minor 3rd. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. I gotta get my 2nd in first, all right? So I've got my hammer on, and then I've got my 2nd, which is the 9th, and then I hammer on this note, which is my minor 3rd, and then I'm on my 5th with my index finger, middle finger, and then here's that extra note that makes it a minor Add9 arpeggio. There's the pinky note right there. 1st finger on 8, pinky on 12. So 7, 12, 9, 10, 9, 10, 12, 8, 12. And then back down that same exact sequence. All right, once again, pretty cool. And just starting on a different note as opposed to starting on the root gives it a slightly different effect. I mean, you've still got all the cool darkness of a minor Add9 in there, but I think it's subtly different when you start it on the 5th like that. Now, this is the exact same arpeggio, so you can connect these 2 shapes next to each other. Once I'm here, I could maybe jump way back up here and then descend through this shape. So connecting those two is a really good idea. What if I go up here, and then here I slide to get back to this shape instead? A lot of different ideas if you start playing around. You don't have to go through the whole shapes. Once again, just maybe try a little bit of that shape. Now, the last shape I'm going to give you is totally different because it really just highlights the structure of this arpeggio. I'm going to start on A on the low string, okay? So I'm going to be A on the 6th string. And really all I need is my root, a 2nd note, and a minor 3rd, and then a 5th. Those 4 notes. Boom, 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 boom. And if I play those like this, if I use my 1st finger, then my ring finger, then use my ring finger again, and then my 1st finger, then I can do that exact same little shape again in the next octave. So here's that same thing, just starting here. 1st finger, ring finger, slide the ring finger, jump in the 1st finger. Now I could do that shape again, just starting here on the 10th fret. 1st finger, ring finger, slide the ring finger, and then the 1st finger. So it's kind of inconvenient to just use those 2 fingers, but you can get away with it, watch. There's that little jump here, though, that I don't like doing. So actually, the way I fret this is I use my 1st finger and my ring finger, and then I just slide it. So pick, pick, slide, pick, 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 slide, pick. And then right here, I use my middle finger to get to this note, and then I use my pinky to get to this note, and then I'll slide my pinky. And then I'm free to finish this arpeggio off with any finger I want. If I need to go up higher on the fretboard, I'll use my 1st finger, and that way I can close off with my pinky. If I'm gonna go lower, I might just use my ring finger, and that helps me come back down this way. All right, so here's what it sounds like, just ascending it. And I think that's a wonderful ascending lick. Now, I don't necessarily recommend descending through that exact shape. It's pretty difficult to jump your fingers around in that exact same shape, just using the way it's set up. So I do like it as something to go up, but I usually like to come down through a different shape. So an example, going up A minor add 9, and then back down through that shape. Or I could stop right here and then go into the other shape we just talked about. All right. So 3 cool ways to play a minor add 9 arpeggio. Now, how do we actually use these? What can I do to compose with them? Well, the thing I did at the beginning of this video was very, very simple. If you know about writing chord progressions in minor keys, which I did an entire video on, and literally the thing you saw at the beginning just follows those extremely simple rules. I wrote a chord progression in A minor, and the chord progression went A minor to C major 7. Well, it went A minor add 9, all right? And then it went to C major 7, and then it went to D minor add 9, and then to F major 7, okay? So if you reference back to that other video, I would call this a 1 to a 3 to a 4 to a 6, all right? That's all I did, a 1, 3, 4, 6 progression. But how did I know I was allowed to do a minor add 9? Can I just do a minor add 9 anywhere? Well, yeah, you can do whatever feels good, but the way I see it is if you're adding in that note, if that note you're adding into the chord is in the scale, then go for it. For example, I'm in the key of A minor, and the note I want to add in to make a minor add 9 is B. So I'm asking myself, okay, is B a legal note in the key of A minor? And the answer is yes, you're allowed to play a B in the key of A minor. So A minor will function just fine as a substitute for my A minor chord in the key of A minor. Now C, normally my 3 chord in the key of A minor is C. But if I add another note to this, as long as that note is in the scale, as long as the note is in the key of A minor, then I can get away with it. So the note I added in was B. That makes it a C major 7 chord. The arpeggio I played for C major 7 is actually found in the very first video of this series. I started episode 1 of this series like 9 months ago or something like that, but they were on major 7th arpeggios. So to figure out the rest of the arpeggio shapes I was playing, definitely reference back to my video on major 7th arpeggios, and then you'll figure out how I actually outlined those major 7th chords like the C major 7 and the F major 7, all right? So really, when I'm thinking of arpeggios, I'm always thinking of chords first. So if you have a chord progression that functions pretty well, it'll probably turn itself well into an arpeggio section as well. And as far as how do you play the arpeggios, well, I mean, really be creative here. Going up and down is one choice, and I did that in the beginning here, but also finding little patterns so it's not just up and down makes a big difference and makes things a little bit more listenable. I like guitar music, but I hate guitar music where it's just sweepy, 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 just up and down, and there's no variation of that. Just a little bit of changes here and there makes a big difference. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did enjoy this video, please like, comment, subscribe. All that kind of stuff helps me out. And if you really enjoy this video, then check out my Patreon account where you can support videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching.